this is where I'm going to start the ILS landing tutorial, which is pretty simple here. So we're just going to go ahead and open up our charts for Mumbai, and if you set up your flight correctly over here, as you can see, I have ILS runway 27 set. The charts will show up over here. So you open up your ILS chart, and you've got all the information you need right here for your ILS approach. Most important thing is the ILS frequency. You have to set that up obviously before you get close, and I already forgot what it was. You guys can see I have memory of a goldfish. What is it? 111.3. Okay, 111.3. So ILS is right down here. 111.3. It's 110.3. Gosh. 110.30. And don't forget to set it to active. If you don't see anything here, if this is just a black screen, it's most likely because your brightness is down. So if your brightness is down, you don't see shit. Just turn your brightness up here and you'll be able to see this. So ILS is set to 111.3, so we have the ILS frequency in. And now we just pretty much see our waypoints here. We can look at our chart. So we have our minimums. So for the Cat 1 ILS, minimums are 230 feet. So we go ahead into our minimum section here, change it to barometric, and you simply set it to 230 feet. It's very, very sensitive, so you have to go slowly. 230 feet is set. And then I just like to look at, what waypoint. So it looks like we want to be at 2,900 feet. That should also be set up in the FMC here. Yeah, at 2,900 feet here, which says 91 Sierra Charlie Zulu. So as you can see, that's 9.1 miles away from the Sierra Charlie Zulu, or India Sierra Charlie Zulu kind of waypoint that your distance is measuring from. So 9.1 miles nautical miles from this is when we should be starting our ILS, when we should be intercepting the glide slope. So now we've passed our top of descent, and as you can see, ATC hasn't given us anything. So my trick is you just request an altitude decrease. We'll go by 10,000 feet, and usually they always give it to you. So we're requesting down to flight level 230, or 13,000, sorry. Alright, so we're cleared. We're cleared down to 13,000. And vertical speed back on, and let's start descending. So again, I'll mention what I did again. So we passed our top of descent, and since we passed our top of descent and ATC didn't give us... Oh, I forgot to acknowledge. Sorry about that. I'll acknowledge. So yeah, again, since we passed our top of descent. Again, the ATC on this game is not ideal. It doesn't, calculate your descent when it should. So I just like to do it myself when I know I need to descend. And now we're descending. And you know what? I'll just request even lower, get down to 3,000 feet, because that's where we want to be.
KLM 2345. Request 3,000 feet. KLM 2345 descend and maintain 13,000 feet.
So we're descending to 13,000 and we're expecting 3,000 feet. I'm going to acknowledge that.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect 3,000 foot KLM 2345.
Alright, cool. So that's set. So this green arc, for those who don't know, that's when you're going to be reaching the altitude that you have set here. So that's 13,000. Watch what happens if I start putting this up. You see that green arc come in? Because of course we're going to reach that altitude faster, but right now we're going to 13,000. And what I did, I also slowed my speed down a little bit, guys, because you get into your approach, you want to slow down. Of course, at 10,000 feet, you want to slow below 250 knots. Alright, so ILS frequency is set. If ever you don't want to look at your chart, if you set your arrival here in the FMC, I'll show you guys quickly how to do it. You just go to the arrival page here, and you'll have the list of arrivals. You choose your arrival. ILS runway 27 is what we chose. Go to your init ref page, and look at that. We have the ILS frequency right there, 111.3, and we also have the course, which is 270, which we're going to set up here. If you don't set up the course, it's not that important. It's more of a kind of visual aid more than anything. But yeah, so now course set to 270, and you have your runway information here. So we have 11,000 foot runway, very long runway. We're going to put in our landing speeds, get that set, and go ahead and look at our airport chart to figure out when we want to brake, because braking, so we're landing runway 27. This is a huge airport, integrated terminal, so I don't know, you know, normally you'd know where your parking is. So like if you're a pilot, usually you know, okay, I'm going to be parking right here, so I want to brake hard so that I can just exit the runway right here and I won't have to taxi for 20 minutes. But we don't know exactly where we want to exit. We might want to exit down here. So we're just going to be safe, and we're going to set our braking just to 1. We have a long runway. Alright, so now this became yellow again because we crossed through 18,000 feet. However, we don't have the altimeter. So what I do is I just look online. If you're flying on a live time, you know, I'm flying on real time, real weather, real everything. So the game is going to give you it's pretty much like listening to the ATIS frequency, but instead we're just looking at it online. So it is 10.14. So actually we have to take standard mode off, and oh, look at that, it's already set 10.14. And we are about to cross out of 14,800 feet, going down to 13,000 feet over here. Alright, so we pretty much set up our ILS, guys. Now the only thing left to do for the ILS is, you know, set up the autopilot, but I'll do that once we get a little bit closer. So we are only 40 miles away from Mumbai. See, they still haven't given us any descent, so, you know, if I didn't start descending, we might still be at 23,000 feet, and look, we're getting so close to the airport, and, you know, no descent. So now we're getting to 13,000 feet, so they're probably going to tell us to descend to 3,000. I'm also going to start slowing down. You know what, guys, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and not listen to ATC. I'm going to change the frequency here, and we're just going to fly in our ILS approach, because I don't want to have to deal with the ATC just not giving me the proper instructions. So vertical speed, and we're going to descend down to 2,900 feet here. And actually, we're going to go down to 3,800 feet. If you guys remember, we had a restriction here, 3,800 feet or above for that runway, or for that approach. So I can actually slow vertical speed down a little bit. As you guys can see, I'm looking at my green arc to see when I'll be descending. So here we are, descending now to our altitude of 3,800. I'm going to turn the landing lights on, these guys on, and go ahead and fasten seat belts on, because we're going to be landing soon. Alright, So I think it might be time now to set up our ILS. Let's just recap what we did for you guys real quick. So set in your ILS frequency, which you find on the ILS landing chart, which is in your EFB right up here. If you set up your EFB correctly, you'll have the ILS frequency and the chart right here. ILS frequency on the chart is at the top right, 111.3. I went and looked at my minimums, set up my minimums, and then you just kind of get a look at the chart, know what you're doing. Yeah, we're not flying this type of arc here that there is at 3800, but we are staying at or above 3800, and we're going to be turning in here, heading 270, and at this waypoint we have to be at 2900 or above, but we're probably already going to be on the glide slope. Welcome to Mumbai. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more tutorials and just fun flights. I like doing some flights for you guys, some cool airports. Let me know if there are any airports that you want to see me land at. We've got the special ones. We got Princess Juliana. We've got the Kaitak's in the game, so you could land there even though that airport isn't functional anymore. Alright, so now to continue the ILS, we're going to turn on you could either turn on just localizer mode if you're intercepting the localizer first, or approach hold actually turns on localizer mode anyway. So I'll just turn on approach hold, and here we go. We've got VOR localizer that is not armed, but it's going to once we intercept, and the glide slope that is also there. We can actually see our glide slope here starting to come up, which is good. That means that we are going to be below the glide slope, which is good, because if you're above it then you're a little too high, but we'd rather be low. So we do have some terrain up there that I'm seeing show up on my radar, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a factor. We're going to be turning before the terrain, so no need to worry about that. Descending to 3,800 feet, so we're going to respect the restriction. And once we start our right turn here, we can probably start descending to 2,900 feet, or I might just hold and let the glide slope take me down. Alright, so we made it now to 3,800 feet. So we are holding, keeping an eye on the terrain. Again, it doesn't look like we're going to be going to it, but we are getting closer than I thought. Got some nice mountains here around Mumbai. Airport's off to our right. Looks like it's going to be a nice ILS landing, because we do have some haze. We're not going to be able to see the runway as early as we'd like. And let's put our range down just to see a little better our approach. And we could also set this, it's on map mode, we can set it to approach mode. Kind of helps us see our ILS landing a little better. This is our glide slope right here and our localizer line. We should be making a right turn soon, so I'm going to slow this plane down. Start getting towards our approach speed. Again, the approach speed is in your reference page here. We set flaps 30, 132 for our approach here, and we're expecting a right turn to be made very shortly. There we go. Right turn is being made, so we can now start to descend towards 2,900 feet. Going to turn our vertical speed on and start descending down to 2,900 feet. And we're expecting to intercept the glide slope at 2,900 feet, right at that waypoint. So here we go. Now we're descending. So we passed our restriction that said 3,800 or above, and now we're looking. The localizer is coming to the right. Hopefully we don't overshoot too much, but it looks like we're turning, and cool. So localizer mode did kick in, so we are now on the localizer. And oh, look at that, we got mountains right in the way. That must be a fun approach to fly in person. You've got the mountains right in front of you on the ILS, but of course the ILS will take that into account. So the glide slope's coming down. I'm going to keep slowing down here, 180 knots, and we'll set flaps down to 15. So let's see how accurate this is. We should be intercepting the glide slope right at this waypoint. So as we cross this waypoint, this pink diamond should be right at the middle. Let's see how accurate we are. Ooh, we're 2,500, but that's because of the terrain, so we're not actually just flying over the terrain. I want to see how accurate this game is. Ooh, it looks like it's going to be perfect. Looks like it's going to be perfect. We're about to cross that waypoint and the glide slope at the same time. Look at that. Alright, glide slope intercepted. Looks like we did a little bit before, but that's fine. Alright, cool. So we are now what we call fully established on the ILS. So fully established means we've got the glide slope working and the localizer working. Both of them are good. And the plane is just flying itself down to the runway. So, slowing down to 160 knots now. And now we're actually at 2,500 feet, so that's our gear down. And we'll set flaps to our landing flaps here. Our flaps to 30. So speed brakes are armed. Yeah, auto brake is set to 1, and we are fully established. Now, once you're fully established, guys, you just want to monitor your ILS. Make sure that your pink diamond for your glide slope is right in the middle, and so is my localizer. If they're off by a bit, of course, now it looks like we're a bit low and a bit to the left of the runway, but once you see your diamond start going way far, that means that maybe your ILS isn't working. But perfect, so gears down. I'm going to get ready for the landing, get my feet on the rudder pedals here, and look at that. We got lucky. It's an actual ILS approach because we can't really see the runway. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these tutorials. I like making them. I'm also going to record my landing just for the fun of it. I like to see how I land, try to make it nice and smooth. So now I'm flying 160 and we're going to slow our speed down. We're looking for 132 on that landing. I like to start slowing my speed down really once we get closer to the runway. And this also depends, you know, in real life sometimes they tell you, hey, you know, slow to final now, or keep your speed up because there's a plane behind you. But right now we're just flying, there's just us and I guess the live players, but we're not too worried about them. So here we have Mumbai below us, and we're gonna bring that speed down to about 145 here, and we're gonna get ready to land. We are looking good. Ooh, we're getting under the glide slope now, so the plane's gonna probably correct that for us. Alright, runway's in sight. Cool. Gonna turn speed hold off and autopilot off. I'm flying now and just monitoring my speed and the ILS, making sure that we're not getting too low or too high. We're a little low now, it's fine. Don't want to run into these trees. Alright, we're at minimum. This runway's in sight. We're going to continue for landing here. Slowly start to flare. And just put this thing down nice and gently. Beautiful. And gonna reverse thrust. Get back on the center line. And we are slowing it down. Welcome to Mumbai. Nice little ILS approach. Landing wasn't too bad. I'll take that landing all the time. Alright, reverse thrust off. We're braking. And we are gonna turn right at this taxiway. Gonna put our flaps back up. Putting the flaps up now. And speed brakes can also go down. Welcome Mumbai. Hope you enjoyed that ILS approach. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. Hopefully you guys are there for it.